Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us. You're watching WFMY News 2 Mornings. It is now 7 o'clock on your Thursday morning. I'm Lauren Coleman.
I'm Megan Malaris. Let's get a check of our forecast. I think you're going to like this one if you haven't been outside already. Bring a jacket. If you haven't sent the kids to the bus stop, make sure they have jackets. But this afternoon looks warmer.
Certainly going to be nearly as warm as we were just yesterday, in the upper 70s. This whole week we've been in the mid to upper 70s. Remember, averages for this time of year are typically in the lower 70s. That's actually where we're going to stand into this afternoon, right at around average for this time of year, feeling like fall. But tonight it is going to be a cold one. We're going to actually drop back into the upper 30s and lower 40s into early tomorrow morning. If you don't have a jacket this morning, certainly going to need one stepping into tomorrow. Likely going to be the coldest air that we've had in our area since April. It's nice and dry though. We don't have to worry about rain chances for the day today, or really for the next couple of days, really until Sunday. Temperatures here just after 7 o'clock starting to warm up with the sun coming up here in just a bit. We're in the mid to lower 50s right now across the area, 52 right now in Greensboro. This afternoon, mid to upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees. High pressure is working to keep us nice and dry for today and tomorrow, as well as into the day on Saturday. We're actually going to start to warm up into the day on Saturday with more upper 70s that are going to return. Today, right at around 70 degrees, a little break for your thermostat. Some rain chances are also on the way by the time we step into Sunday afternoon and evening. We'll talk a little bit more about what you can expect with those rain chances and timing wise, and also more about what you can expect into next week.
Let's take a look at Triad traffic. We have had a pretty quiet traffic morning. We had an earlier bump up in Summerfield that has cleared, but right now we're good to go. I-40 at Peters Creek Parkway looks fine in both directions. Cars are cruising and there are no weather delays to slow you down this morning. This wreck I mentioned in Summerfield on 220 has cleared. DOT removed that icon, so you're good to go at Carlton Road and Gold Hill Road to and from Summerfield and northern Guilford County today. Our map, the overview here as I zoom out, shows nice conditions in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Burlington down to High Point and beyond to Asheboro. No trouble there. Drive times Burlington to Greensboro look pretty good, all things considered, heading into the morning rush. We're looking at a 9-minute ride down I-40 West to 85, 19 minutes down I-85 to I-73. Let's go Winston-Salem to Greensboro now. A 26-minute commute down 421 and still a little bit of stop and go from Winston-Salem to Greensboro on I-40. No wreck reported, but we are watching that closely. Slow going at about 37 miles an hour. It'll take 42 minutes. So if you have a choice, take 421 to Greensboro instead. That's a look at Triad traffic.
All right, switching gears now to our morning headlines. The Triad International Studies Academy closed its doors for the last time just after noon Wednesday. Now parents looking for where to enroll next gathered at a nearby elementary school to hear from the district about their options. WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman spoke to some of those parents.
Parents say between the short notice and the sudden closure of the Triad International Studies Academy, figuring out what's next has been complicated.
It's really stressful.
Parents like Dulce Garcia, whose daughter attended TISA, saying she was thriving there. We met Garcia before tonight's meeting as her emotions ran high.
Now I don't know what I'm gonna do with her.
Tonight's meeting, hosted by Guilford County Schools, aimed to give parents options for re-enrollment. The charter school closed because state law requires at least 80 students. TISA had fewer than 60. Garcia says the meeting did bring some relief.
I'm glad the meeting did happen because I do have like one school in mind, and that helped me ease a little bit.
The district offered 3 schools: Kirkman Park, Northwood, and Allen J. Elementaries, all in High Point, all offering similar dual language programs, according to District Deputy Superintendent Anitra Wells.
We wanted to bring our High Point schools in that actually offer immersion programs.
Wells says students can start at those schools as early as tomorrow.
Absolutely, if those parents choose to enroll them tonight.
But she worries about students who wait.
I think that looks like lost instructional time. And so we really don't want babies to lose opportunities or scholars to lose those opportunities.
Garcia says while she feels a little better now, she still worries about the future.
I don't know what I'm gonna do because there's my job was based on her school schedule.
Saying this situation has impacted her entire family.
All right, GCS and the city of High Point say they are working to help displaced teachers and staff find new positions.
Greensboro police responded to Lake Higgins last night and are now investigating this morning what appears to be a safe found in the water. Technicians pulled it out and took it away for investigation. We've reached out to police to learn more, including whether they found anything inside. This all comes as there are many questions about whether this at all is related to the investigation of Amber Schimmelfetting, the initially missing woman whose remains police found in different parts of the county and in the lake, in part in late September. Police would not confirm or deny if this is related to that case.
The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office identified the man shot and killed by deputies. Deputies say 31-year-old Siobhan Smith died during a shootout late last Tuesday. They say they were trying to serve a warrant at a house in Reedsville when Smith shot at them several times. Deputies then shot him dead. No deputies were hurt. The SBI is now investigating.
All right, a lot of talk about what's happening at UNCG as police defend their officers after a video of a traffic stop and arrest went viral on social media.
Yeah, right now some are pushing for accountability while the department says officers followed procedure. Here is a short clip from that video. Take a look.
Going to jail too. We don't have badge numbers. Give me your name. You want to go to jail too? Okay, you going to jail. That's fine.
The video, as you can see, it doesn't really show the full interaction. Campus police say they were approaching a car that had been parked in a turn lane on Glenwood Avenue for about 40 minutes with the hazards on. They say the driver was verbally aggressive and refused to get out of the vehicle.
Police say a UNCG student walked up during this, as you saw in that video. They say she put her hands on an officer's shoulder and later refused to identify herself, demanding officers give them their badge numbers. UNCG police explained they don't have badge numbers, but they do have the officers' names displayed on the uniform. When she tried to leave, officers say, quote, controlled force was used to safely restrain her. One student who witnessed part of what happened said he's traumatized.
This did not make UNCG weaker. If anything, it made these students and the faculty stronger.
Well, university police say the officers involved followed protocol and will not be disciplined.
Local leaders are ramping up pressure on Representative Cecil Brockman to step down as he faces child sex crime charges. We asked Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn for her thoughts while in our studio Wednesday.
Representative Brockman is part of our Guilford delegation, and we rely on him for support. I believe that it is in the best interest of Guilford County and the state for him to step aside. He can focus on the issues that he has to deal with, but also that we can continue to be represented 100% at the state level. That is really important.
While Brockman is in custody, he's not able to vote, leaving Democrats down a vote. He's now in jail after his release from the hospital yesterday.
We're on top of what is being called the largest meth bust in Alamance County history. The narcotics enforcement team says it seized more than 400 pounds of meth in a massive multi-agency operation. Authorities arrested 2 Burlington men for this bust. Both are facing trafficking charges. The narcotics team said the drugs had a street value of more than $5 million. Officials are calling this a major win in the fight against drug trafficking.
Burlington police say this man is a person of interest in a string of car break-ins. Police say they happened at Forestdale Apartments in the southwest part of the city. Call police if you recognize him.
High Point police say 4 people face charges this morning accused of trying to steal cars from a popular dealership you might recognize. One of the suspects is 17. Officers say the attempted thefts happened at the Ilderton Dodge on South Main Street. If you walk the High Point Parade, you know we go right by there. Police also found a loaded gun in the suspect's car. The 4 arrested range in age from 17 to 22. All face several charges this morning.
Right now, the entire town of Pilot Mountain is under a boil water advisory. This comes after a water main break. We now know this has been going on for at least several hours. Everyone is urged to boil water used for cooking or drinking until further notice.
One of the pressing issues for the next mayor of Greensboro will face is violence downtown. We've reported officers responded to 2 separate shootings downtown last weekend. Former Mayor Robbie Perkins and current Mayor Pro Tem Marika Abuzawader shared their thoughts on addressing this problem.
As a mayor, I would be working to address that, whether that's increased staffing from the police department, whether there's some sort of ordinance that we can put in place, whether it's simply cleaning up the streets and making it look more presentable so we can draw more crowds that will keep the criminal element out.
So one thing that I have envisioned is, when we have city-sponsored events, some of the events downtown were not city-sponsored, but when we have city-sponsored events, just like when you go to the Coliseum or the amphitheater or Tanger, you're required to have a clear plastic bag to take your belongings.
As a reminder, in-person early voting starts this morning and runs through November 1st. You can also go ahead and request a mail-in ballot if you want to vote by mail. Election Day is November 4th.
Coming up after the break, a major court ruling puts the brakes on federal layoffs, what a judge just told former President Trump to stop doing during the government shutdown. All right, now that the sun is up, we're getting a better look at our roadways. Here is a live lookout in Winston-Salem. We're taking a look at I-40 at Peters Creek Parkway, where traffic is moving smoothly. A lot of drivers out on the road, but no bumper-to-bumper action to see here. I do want to give you an update on a crash we were keeping an eye on out in Summerfield. US 220 was closed in that northbound lane near Carlton Road and Gold Hill Road. That is now open. All traffic flows back down to that normal pace, so no need for any alternate routes. As we zoom on out, taking a look across the Triad, we're pretty much in great shape across the board. However, we are seeing some moderate and heavier delays out in Winston-Salem on 40. This is typical for this time of the morning, just typical hot spots. But right now we're looking great. Very quickly, some quick drive times. Those leaving Burlington headed into Greensboro, if you're hopping on I-40 West, is going to take you about 9 minutes to get to the I-40 split. And then those headed to Greensboro on 885 South, we're looking at a 20-minute commute to get to I-73. That's a look at your Triad traffic.
Switching gears now, checking in on your forecast. After a stretch of days in the upper 70s, we are back in the more seasonable lower 70s. This is pretty typical for this time of year. These temperatures, we are cooling down for the day today and into the day tomorrow. In fact, tonight, It's probably going to be the coldest night since April with lows, that are going to drop into the lower 40s. Greensboro right now, sun is starting to come up. We're in the lower 50s across the area. Winds are also pretty calm across the region. Temperatures right now upper 40s and low to mid 50s, 54 in High Point, as well as in Burlington. For our friends over here toward the mountains, a bit cooler, 46 in Wilkesboro, 49 right now in Boone. We're going to be nice and dry for the day today and for the next several days, really through Saturday, until we see our next best chance of rain coming in on Sunday. And let me tell you why. High pressure is going to work to keep us nice and dry as it starts to move a little bit more offshore. Breezes are going to start to come in out of the south, and they're going to be a little bit more humid and also warmer into the day Saturday. So we'll go from right at around 70 degrees for highs today and tomorrow, back into the upper 70s for highs as we step into Saturday afternoon and into the evening. A closer look at the futurecast this afternoon, right at around 70 degrees by 3 or 4 o'clock. Now by 8 or 9, we're going to be falling back down into the 50s, waking up tomorrow morning in the lower 40s. Some spots even toward the mountains could be in the upper 30s. A very cold start to the day. Definitely going to need the heavier jacket starting out the day for Friday. By the afternoon, upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees. A perfect day for a break for the thermostat ahead of some warmer air on the way for Saturday. Some upcoming clouds also moving into the area, starting to get back in the upper 70s. Some places could even hit 80 into Saturday afternoon. Now, longer range outlook, we are tracking a rain chance stepping into Sunday afternoon and into the evening along a front. I don't think everyone will get a shower, but I think at some point, especially northernmost counties have the better chance of getting up to around 1/10 of an inch, and some of those heavier showers could get up to around 1/4 of an inch. Again, I think at this point we will take anything that we can get. Now behind that system, we're going to be cooler and also breezy on Monday, back in the mid to upper 60s, 70s return through midweek.
In the news from the White House this morning, a federal judge ordered President Trump to stop firing federal workers during the government shutdown.
This comes after federal agencies started issuing layoffs to try to reduce the size of the federal government. The judge said the cuts appear to be politically motivated and were not being carried out with much thought. She explained she believes evidence would ultimately show the cuts were illegal. Before this ruling, the head of the White House Office of Management and Budget said the number of layoffs could reach 10,000.
Meantime, the Senate once again failed to pass a spending bill to reopen the government. Republicans are trying to convince 5 more Democrats to vote with them.
Journalists at the Pentagon are turning in access badges after leaving the facility Wednesday. This came after news outlets unanimously rejected new press rules imposed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. So the rules would leave journalists vulnerable to expulsion if they report on information not approved by Hegseth for release. President Trump backed the new rules. Hegseth called the rules, quote, common sense.
Israel received the remains of 2 more hostages just hours after the Israeli military said one of the bodies previously turned over wasn't a hostage. The confusion added to tensions over the fragile truce that's pausing the 2-year war. Even with this issue resolved, the 20-part peace plan still faces hurdles. Hamas wants the Israeli military to fully withdraw from Gaza, but Israel says that's not part of the deal. It's a story about the power of song and the comfort it can bring when words are no longer enough. Here's a look at the Threshold Singers, a group using their voices to bring peace to those at the end of life.
In this story, what you're about to see is secondary to what you will hear.
It can be a very joyful, peaceful, sacred experience.
I think, to me, the strongest message is the power of a voice.
Our songs are like lullabies for adults.
Lullabies for adults on the threshold of life.
How beautiful it is to be with somebody who is at that stage of life. That it can be a very meaningful experience that enriches your life and enriches what is left of their life.
That's Leslie Kostridge, director of the Threshold Singers of Washington.
So many angels.
Twice a month, the group rehearses here for singing engagements across the D.C. area.
I don't even have the words to tell you what it feels like to be in the room with someone and to connect with them, and even if you aren't sure they're actually conscious, we always feel that they can hear us anyway.
The group's audiences are typically in hospice. For these singers, it is an experience as important as it is intimate.
It usually feels very precious.
I don't think you can witness someone passing without really feeling very close or very affected by them.
It's our gift to them, but they are really giving back to us too.
You are not alone.
We saw it firsthand at Goodwin Living in Alexandria. You can see the impact in Jean Brown's eyes.
There's no way I could describe it, but I have never heard such singing that was, oh my gosh, it was from the heart.
From the hearts of strangers who are often touched too.
You know, it's easy to say this, but it really was true. It was completely life-changing, and very few things in my life have ever hit me that way.
And in engaging with the dying.
It is like the time I feel the most alive.
Just walking each other home.
Wow, how beautiful is that? Checking in on your forecast here, switching gears. A beautiful start to the morning here across the Piedmont Triad. We're currently in the upper 40s and lower 50s across the area. Temperatures right now 52 in Greensboro, 54 in Burlington, as well as in High Point. This afternoon going to be notably cooler than we were the last several days. I'm talking right at around 70 versus the upper 70s that we've had since earlier on this week. Here's a look at that futurecast stepping into this evening. We're actually going to be seeing lows drop to the coolest lows that we've had since April, in the upper 30s and lower 40s for Friday morning. We're going to be right at around 70 degrees for Friday afternoon, ahead of a warm up coming as we step into the upcoming weekend. Saturday is looking sunny and dry in the upper 70s. Sunday is looking pretty warm, but we are going to be seeing some much needed rain chances heading into the afternoon and into the evening. Now behind that front, we're going to be a little bit cooler into Monday in the upper 60s, with 70s taking us through midweek.
I'm Lauren Coleman with a check of the day's top stories. The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office identified the man shot and killed by deputies. Deputies say 31-year-old Siobhan Smith died during a shootout last Tuesday. They say they were trying to serve a warrant at a house in Reedsville when Smith shot at them several times. Deputies then shot him dead. No deputies were hurt. The SBI is now investigating. Burlington police say this man is a person of interest in a string of car break-ins. Police say that they happen at Forestdale Apartments in the southwest part of the city. Call police if you recognize him. Here's meteorologist Claire Fry with a check of the forecast.
Yep, good morning, Lauren. Good to see you. It is a cool morning out there. Going to need a light jacket. We're currently in the low to mid 50s, but a beautiful start to the day. We're actually going to be a little bit cooler than we have been the last couple of days in the upper 70s. More like upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees stepping into this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine into the upcoming weekend. Sunny and dry. Very warm for the day on Saturday. Upper 70s versus Sunday. We're going to be seeing more rain chances, especially into the afternoon and into the evening. Here's your full 7-day forecast. The next couple of days feels like fall. Remember, typical highs during this time of year are in the lower 70s, so we're right on par. Saturday is looking a little bit warmer, upper 70s with some rain chances Sunday afternoon and evening. Monday is a bit cooler and a bit breezy in the 60s with 70s taking us all the way through midweek.
Hello and welcome back to WFMY News 2 Mornings. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lauren Coleman. It is now 7:30. Lots to get into, but first, let's get a check of this forecast with meteorologist Claire Fry. It's fairly cool outside today.
Certainly in comparison to the last several days that we've actually made it into the mid to upper 70s. Highs yesterday 77 in Greensboro, Reedsville, Danville, as well as in Winston-Salem. Forecast highs today, on the other hand, following that cold front that went through just last night, going to be in the lower 70s, right on average with where we should be for this time of year. Tonight will likely be the coolest air that we've seen since April. Certainly feeling cold in the upper 30s and lower 40s for tomorrow morning. So if you're heading the kids out, putting them out and getting them ready for the bus stop tomorrow morning, make sure you give them the heavier coat, even if they might not need it for the afternoon. Certainly going to need it for the morning. Satellite and radar, we are nice and dry this morning, continuing to stay dry over the next several days for today, tomorrow, as well as into the day on Saturday. Temperatures here just after 7:30. We're in the low to mid 50s. The majority of us for northernmost counties, upper 40s, 46 right now in Reedsville, as well as in Stoneville, 47 in Danville, and also in Yanceyville. Over the next 12 hours, we're going to be back in the upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees. High pressure is working to keep us nice and dry today, tomorrow, and into the day on Saturday. And that's going to be starting to warm us up also as it shifts offshore into the day on Saturday too. Upper 60s to lower 70s for this afternoon ahead of that warm up coming into the weekend. Upper 70s with more rain chances coming into Sunday afternoon and evening. Coming up, we'll break down those rain chances and give you a full look at your 7-day forecast.
Alrighty, here's a look at our roadways. Right now we're taking a look at our big picture map here where we can see traffic looks pretty good. We're in great shape. No major delays out in Greensboro, High Point, Somerville, I-40 and Burlington, but we are starting to see some of those delays on 40. This is heading westbound, or eastbound rather, from Winston-Salem. This is fairly typical. No reports of any crashes. Just a lot of folks heading into Greensboro at the moment. So if you are about to leave Winston and heading into Greensboro by way of 40, make sure that you head out a few minutes early. That is a look at your Triad traffic. Switching gears now to our top story of the day. Guilford Technical Community College broke ground on the first phase of its new aviation campus on Wednesday. This comes as the industry takes off in the triad with Boom Supersonic and Jet Zero, bringing thousands of new jobs. Governor Josh Stein attended the celebration. He praised the role of education and training supporting our state's manufacturing industry.
Really blessed in North Carolina. We have the largest manufacturing workforce in the entire Southeast, and we have the most talented, and GTCC and this new building is going to ensure that we remain at the top.
Leaders say the new facility will be up and running by spring of 2027. The community college is already working with other community colleges to build curriculums that match industry needs. And for even more aviation opportunities, PTI is hosting a job fair next Tuesday. More than a dozen airport-based employees will be there, including FedEx, Honda Jet, and TSA. They'll be there hiring for roles in aviation, hospitality, logistics, and public safety. The fair is from 3 to 7 inside the terminal. Parking is free, and some employers might interview on site. After his trip to Colfax, Stein then went to Forsyth County for a law enforcement roundtable with Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough. The governor highlighted the need for the General Assembly to pass a public safety package that ensures fast responses to crime and preventing it from happening in the first place. Today, Governor Stein will visit the small town of Marshall in western North Carolina. This was an area hit hard by Helene, and one visited to mark 1 year since the hurricane. We shot this drone video as the Riverside town bounces back. At this point, all we know is that Stein will be making an announcement about a state flood program. We'll keep you posted. Also today, the State Fair in Raleigh opens. Organizers are introducing 88 new foods along with new rides and entertainment. Today is a Wolfpack Day, so all NC State students get in for $8. We've got more information up on our website. This morning, we also got an update on the number of visitors that came during North Carolina A&T's homecoming. GHO, downtown Greensboro Inc. says more than 170,000 people were in town, breaking a record. Next year's event might be even bigger, though, as the university marks its 100th homecoming. Still ahead, the government shutdown is taking off airports nationwide. How unpaid or traffic controllers and TSA agents are fueling new travel delays and what passengers can do about it. That story next. All right, we're checking back in on our Triad traffic. Not much has changed in the last few minutes, but we are still seeing some of those delays heading eastbound on 40, those leaving Winston headed into Greensboro. We can see that by that red there. This is typical for this time of the morning, so head out early and pack your patience. But other parts of the Triad looking good. No major delays in Greensboro, Summerfield, Burlington, High Point, Liberty, Moxville, all looking great. Here's a look at some drive times. Folks who are leaving Burlington heading into Greensboro, if you're hopping on I-40 West, it's going to take you about 9 minutes to get to the 85 split. And then those headed to Greensboro by way of 85 South, about a 20-minute commute to get to I-73. Traffic moving at about 70 miles per hour. That is a look at your Triad traffic. As the government shutdown enters week 3, more than 1 million federal workers still aren't getting paid, including TSA agents and FAA officials who must keep working. Their union says many are calling out sick under the financial strain, causing some flight delays. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan breaks down your rights if you're stuck at the airport.
The ongoing government shutdown is causing staffing shortages at some airports across the country, and it's impacting travelers. Air traffic controllers and TSA agents are considered essential employees and are required to show up for work. But right now, they're not getting paid.
We missed 2 pay cycles, and that was traumatic.
Johnny Jones with the American Federation of Government Employees says workers are having to call out sick because they simply can't afford to come to work.
That's not what the gas station is going to take. That's not what the child care is going to take. And that's not what your mortgage company is going to take.
Under a current law, workers who are not getting paid will receive back pay. But President Donald Trump has said that may change. The FAA said at least 12 facilities didn't have enough air traffic controllers last Friday. Some of those impacted were in major metro areas like New York and Chicago.
Even if there's not an issue at your airport, if there is a flight coming into your airport or you have to wait for a flight, there could be a domino effect.
Expedia travel expert Melanie Fish says during the shutdown, passengers should try and book the earliest and direct flight to avoid delays. And it's important to know your rights as a passenger.
You have to be offered accommodations in certain cases. You have to be offered the option to get a refund in certain cases. You have to be offered options on another airline in certain cases.
If you do have to rebook your flight because of a delay or cancellation, Fish says it may be faster to do it online rather than stand in line to see an agent in person. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Quite the difference here today in the highs that we're expecting versus the last several days where we've been in the upper 70s. Today, lower 70s, all from a cold front that just moved through the area last night, cooling us off and into the night tonight. I do think it's going to be some of the coldest air that we've seen this season, if not the coldest air that we've seen since April, in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Greensboro right now, beautiful sunrise to start off your day. We're currently in the lower 50s right now with plenty of sun. Expect that for the next several days. Temperatures here just after 7:40, upper 40s, low to mid 50s, 52 right now in Greensboro, as well as in High Point, 54 in Mount Airy, and also in Burlington. A closer look at the satellite and radar. Not much to see, which is a great thing if you're a sunshine lover. High pressure is going to work to keep us nice and dry over the next several days, today, tomorrow, as well as into the day on Saturday. Where we have that clockwise rotation, it's going to start to usher in warmer air stepping into the day on Saturday. So we'll go from the lower 70s back into the upper 70s briefly for Saturday afternoon, ahead of some rain chances that are going to start to move into our area late into Sunday evening. Here's a closer look at that futurecast for this afternoon and evening. By 9 o'clock, we're in the 50s overnight. We're going to be starting to falling in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Going to be a cold one to start out your Friday. Even in the afternoon, we're going to be in the upper 70s or upper 60s, excuse me, to right at around 70 degrees. That futurecast is going to continue to extend into Saturday, where we are starting to warm up. Highs back in the mid to upper 70s across the area. Rain chances again going to be slim over the next couple of days. Our next best shot of rain isn't going to come until late Sunday night, and it's not a guarantee for everyone. Rain chances after that also looking nice and dry, at least through the middle of next week. Rain potential over the next week, really only up to around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch if you're lucky and you've received some of those heavier bands in that front. Tropical update, not much to show you. Development is not expected over the next 7 days, which is a great thing. The next name on the list is the M storm, which is Melissa. We'll continue to keep you posted on the tropics through the end of the Atlantic hurricane season, which isn't until November 30th. Next couple of days, lower 70s, starting to warm up on Saturday to right at around 78 degrees. Afternoon and evening showers going to be possible on Sunday ahead of a cool down on Monday. 70s return back on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Fall is in full swing, and as we all know, the season means lots of fun activities here in North Carolina. Whether it's Woods of Terror or Boo at the Zoo, we've got you covered with planning your next fall outing. Take a look. Whether you're looking for frights, family fun, or just a reason to get outside and enjoy the crisp fall air, October has something for everyone. If you love a good scare, you can't miss Woods of Terror, Greensboro's famous haunted attraction, with 16 unique themes, over 150 live actors, and Hollywood-level scares. Or head to Snow Camp for the Hollywood Horror Show, created by real filmmakers with movie-quality sets, effects, and props for an adrenaline-pumping night. October isn't complete without a pumpkin patch visit. From Rudd Farm in Greensboro to Kernersville pumpkins and Christmas trees, there are plenty of places to pick the perfect pumpkin, take a hayride, and get lost in a corn maze. Prefer apples over pumpkins? Head to local orchards like Millstone Creek Orchards, Apple Hill, or Skytop Orchard for you pick apples, ciders, and plenty of fall treats. Take the kids to the Greensboro Science Center for a day of exploring the zoo, aquarium, and dinosaur exhibits. And if you're feeling brave, try the Skywall Ropes course. Or make your way to Asheboro for Boo at the North Carolina Zoo. 2 weekends of trick-or-treating, costume contests, and family-friendly Halloween fun. Want to kick up the thrills? Head to Carowinds. Carowinds Amusement Park transforms into a full-on fright fest with haunted mazes, scare zones, and their coasters running after dark. Don't forget to take in the fall colors with a hike at Pilot Mountain or Hanging Rock State Park, both perfect spots for leaf peeping and picnics. And for a unique fall road trip, check out Seagrove's Potter's Pumpkin Patch Trail. Every Saturday in October, local artists showcase handcrafted pumpkins and autumn-inspired pieces. And for the grown-ups, a fall day is the perfect excuse to visit Yadkin Valley Wineries. Sip and savor at some of the state's most scenic vineyards while soaking up those Blue Ridge mountain views. So whether you're seeking scares, sips, or simple family fun, October in North Carolina is packed with fun things to do. If you're ready to explore these fall attractions or plan your next weekend outing, just scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you right to our website with all the details and direct links to everything that we mentioned. So much fun.
I know.
I love the spooky. I told my editor, make sure you put that spooky Halloween music in there.
No, that's really fun. I know I've been to Scarewinds. It terrified me younger, even when I was a teenager, but super fun. Obviously, I was so into roller coasters.
Yeah.
I think for me, having a fall birthday, it was like every year I wanted to do something different. And I'm still that way too, right? And there is, I don't know, there is something you can do that's different every year, whether it's apple picking in the fall, pumpkin picking, a vineyard. I mean, there were so many options of things that you can do.
This is the time of year to get out and about. I will say, I really want to go to Woods of Terror. No one at the station will go with me. They're like, I don't do that scary stuff.
I'll go with you.
Okay, are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it because I've been wanting to go for a couple years and people are chickening out.
No, I won't chicken out.
Okay.
I won't do
it. Hold her to it. We're going to do a reel about it or something to prove we win.
That's right.
All right, stick with us. We'll be right back. In our health headlines this morning, obesity rates in America have jumped from 40% to 70%, but not for the reason you might think. Researchers at Mass General Brigham said they used a new definition that looks at body fat distribution in addition to BMI. And under this standard, the vast majority of Americans are now considered obese. And where you live could affect your brain health. Wake Forest University study found that people in socioeconomically disadvantaged areas have faced higher risks of Alzheimer's and dementia, with memory problems and cognitive decline more common. The research shows your social environment can impact your brain functions and structures itself. Popular weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy may have an unexpected side effect. They could also reduce alcohol use. A study from the Franklin Biomedical Research Institute found that GLP-1 drugs slow alcohol's entry into the bloodstream, slowing its effects on the brain. So researchers say this delay could lower the risk of alcohol abuse. During Breast Cancer Awareness Month, mammograms are highlighted for early cancer detection, but they can also reveal hidden heart disease. Michael George shares one woman's life-saving story.
Nancy Preston says a mammogram saved her life, but not because it picked up breast cancer. It showed the 66-year-old yoga instructor had signs of heart disease.
It was just a time bomb. Could have happened at any time.
She's taking part in a study at Mount Sinai informing women about breast arterial calcification, or BAC.
It's these little white dots that follow in this line,
which can be seen on a mammogram and is a marker for cardiovascular disease risk.
Blood vessels that supply the breasts can get calcified, the same way that blood vessels that are in your heart or that take blood up to your brain can get calcified and cause disease.
Dr. Lori Margulies is leading the research.
That turns out in Nancy's case to be incredibly significant.
Nancy was notified she had BAC. It was recommended she see cardiologist Dr. Marianne McLaughlin. Despite managing high blood pressure and cholesterol very well, her stress test showed changes consistent with blocked arteries.
Miss Preston was in very good health, so I really wasn't entirely sure I would find something.
You need open heart surgery. I was in such shock.
About 12% of patients in the trial show BAC. The goal, to make BAC reporting a standard part of mammography nationwide.
Every woman should be getting their mammogram and also asking whether they have vascular calcifications in their breast.
If a radiologist puts in the report that there's breast arterial calcification, I would want every gynecologist, every primary care doctor to then tell the patient, let's check it out.
Nancy needed quintuple bypass surgery.
A no-brainer that this should be information shared. I'm so glad that I was made aware of this.
She's now in cardiac rehab and back to practicing some light yoga. Michael George, CBS News.
Right now, radiologists report back found on mammograms, but in the future, AI is expected to spot these clarifications and include them automatically in reports.
One last check of your forecast. Waking up this morning, it has been a beautiful start to the day. Temperatures here just after 7:50 are in the low to mid 50s. We're only going up from here for this afternoon. 52 currently in Greensboro, 51 in Winston-Salem, as well as in High Point. A bit cooler for our northernmost counties, 46 in Reedsville and in Stoneville, 47 in Yanceyville, as well as in Danville. Current conditions right now, lots and lots of sunshine. We don't have to worry about any sort of rain into the next day today, into the next couple of days too. Nice and dry. We're in the upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees for this afternoon. So right on par with where we normally are for this time of year. As for your weekend forecast, starting to warm up a bit on Saturday, upper 70s and also dry, but rain chances slowly returning late Sunday night and into early on Monday as a front starts to move into the area. Here's that 7-day forecast over the next couple of days. We really are feeling like fall as we kick off the North Carolina State Fair today. Into the weekend, warming up a bit for Saturday. Some isolated showers going to be possible later Sunday afternoon and evening. Cooler behind the front, stepping into next week in the 60s with 70s taking us into Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, checking back in on our triad traffic, I do want to take a look at some of these delays that we're seeing on 40 for folks leaving Winston headed into Greensboro. This is usually typical for this hour, but we're starting to see those reds on I-40 East. And traffic looks like it's moving about 30 miles per hour, and it's looking like a 56-minute commute. So we're going to make some calls, look more into this. It could just be typical, but you definitely want to head out early and pack your patience. 421, some lighter delays there. We're looking at a 39-minute commute and traffic moving about 40 miles per hour. That is a look at your Triad traffic. I'm Lauren Coleman with a check of the day's top stories. We are following the largest meth bust in Alamance County history. The narcotics enforcement team says it seized over 400 pounds of meth and a massive multi-agency operation. Authorities arrested 2 Burlington men. Both are facing trafficking charges. The narcotics team says the drugs had a street value of more than $5 million. Officials are calling this a major win in the fight against drug trafficking. Greensboro police were called to Lake Higgins last night after what appeared to be a safe was found in the water. Technicians pulled it out and took it away for an investigation. We have reached out to police to learn more, including whether anything was found inside. You may remember that body parts of missing woman Amber Schimmelfinning were found in that lake in late September. Police would not confirm or deny if this discovery is related to that case. We'll keep you posted. Here's meteorologist Claire Fry with a check of the forecast.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Good morning. It is a beautiful start to the day this Thursday. Well, right now we're in the upper 40s and low to mid 50s, depending on where you are across the Piedmont. Plenty of sunshine, though. Nice and dry here for the next several days. Temps right now right in the low to mid 50s, 54 in Greensboro. This afternoon going to be notably cooler, upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees, starting to warm up, stepping into the weekend. Actually going to be in the upper 70s by the time we're into Saturday afternoon, with some rain chances Sunday afternoon and evening. Not all of us will get a shower, but it's our next best shot of rain chances. Next week, we are cooling off Monday before warming back up in the 70s.
Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I did.
Good morning, and thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching WFMY News 2 Mornings. It is now 8 a.m. on this Thursday morning. I'm Lauren Coleman.
I'm Megan Malaris. We are streaming live on WFMY Plus, and we thank you for joining us. Wasting no time here, let's bring in meteorologist Claire Fry with a true fall forecast. Feeling every inch of October, finally.
Certainly feels like October after a stretch of abnormally warm days this week across the Piedmont, where we were in the upper 70s just yesterday. Some places even toward Mount Airy. Wilkesboro got almost all the way up to 80 degrees, 78 in Lexington as well as in Siler City. Today, we're going to be in the lower 70s where we should be right for this time of year. Tonight, though, we're in for a cold one, upper 30s and lower 40s. This will likely be the coldest air of the season and likely the coldest air we've had since April here in the Triad. Nice and dry throughout the day today. Don't have to worry about rain chances as high pressure remains dominant across our area. Temps right now are in the low to mid 50s just after 8 o'clock. Probably going to need the jacket for the morning, but by the time we're in the afternoon, it's going to be a nice break for your thermostat. Upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees with plenty of sun thanks to high pressure that's working to keep us nice and dry, but we're much cooler following that cold front that slid through just last night. As we start to see high pressure move offshore, that's going to shift breezes to become a little bit more warm into the day Saturday, but today still pretty cool right at around 70 degrees. Over the next couple of days, though, temperatures on a little bit of a roller coaster, going from 70 for today and tomorrow back in the upper 70s for Saturday, and that's ahead of some rain chances into Sunday afternoon and evening. Coming up, we'll break those down for you, plus give you a full look at your 7-day forecast.
All right, let's take a look across the Triad. Right now, we're in pretty great shape out in Greensboro. No major delays to report there. A couple hot spots heading eastbound on I-40 near Burlington, but I really want to zero in on Winston-Salem. Again, these are usually typical hot spots, but we are seeing some heavier reds on 40 eastbound heading into Greensboro at less checked traffic, moving as slow as about 5 miles per hour, so almost some standstill traffic. So head out early and pack your patience, or consider taking 421 as your alternate route that can help you get around that. Taking a look at some of those drive times and our live traffic. Right now we have a live picture out in Greensboro. This is I-40 at McConnell, where it's kind of quiet over here, not too much going on, but take a look at those beautiful fall-like colors. And very quickly, let's take a look at those drive times, folks that are leaving Winston headed into Greensboro. We've seen some improvement in the last 15 minutes, some yellows there. So some light delays. It's looking at like a 40-minute commute on I-40 East, and then a 40-minute commute on 421 East.
Let's dive into our morning headlines now. You'll be hearing more about this police investigation at Lake Higgins. This happened last night after what appeared to be a safe was in the water. Technicians pulled it out and took it away for the investigation, but it's unclear what was in it or what it's related to. We do know there are questions about whether this is at all related to the investigation of Amber Schimmelfenning, the woman found dead and whose remains were located in the lake in late September. Police did not confirm or deny if this latest discovery of the safe is related to her case. We'll keep you updated.
The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office identified the man shot and killed by deputies. Deputies say 31-year-old Siobhan Smith died during a shootout last Tuesday. They say they were trying to serve a warrant at a house in Reedsville when Smith shot at them several times. Deputies then shot him dead. No deputies were hurt. The SBI is investigating.
UNCG police are defending their officers after a video of a traffic stop and arrest went viral on social media.
Some are pushing for accountability while the department says officers followed procedure. Here's a short clip from this video.
Going to jail too. We don't have badge numbers. Give me your name. You want to go to jail too? Okay, you want to jail. That's fine.
This video doesn't show the full interaction. Campus police say they were approaching a car that had been parked in a turn lane on Glenwood Avenue for about 40 minutes with hazards on. They say the driver was verbally aggressive and refused to get out of the car.
Yeah, police say the UNCG student who was pictured during that video you just saw walked up during that incident, put her hands on an officer's shoulder, and later refused to identify herself, saying she wanted officers' badge numbers. When she tried to leave, officers say they used controlled force to safely restrain her. One student said he witnessed part of what happened.
This did not make UNCG weaker. If anything, it made these students and the faculty stronger.
University police say officers followed protocol and will not face discipline.
Local leaders are ramping up pressure on Representative Cecil Brockman to step down as he faces child sex crime charges. We asked Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn for her thoughts while in our studio Wednesday.
Representative Brockman is part of our Guilford delegation, and we rely on him for support. I believe that it is in the best interest of Guilford County and the state for him to step aside. He can focus on the issues that he has to deal with, but also that we can continue to be represented 100% at the state level. That is really important.
While Brockman is in custody, he's not able to vote, leaving Democrats down a vote. He is now in jail after his release from the hospital yesterday.
One of the pressing issues the next mayor of Greensboro will face is violence downtown. You might recall this story from earlier this week when officers responded to two separate downtown shootings last weekend when there were a lot of people in town for festivities. Former Mayor Robbie Perkins and Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Marikia Buzawader shared what they would do to address this issue.
As a mayor, I would be working to address that, whether that's increased staffing from the police department, whether there's some sort of ordinance that we can put in place, whether it's simply cleaning up the streets and making it look more presentable so we can draw more crowds that will keep the criminal element out.
So one thing that I have envisioned is, when we have city-sponsored events, some of the events downtown were not city sponsored, but when we have city sponsored events, just like when you go to the Coliseum or the amphitheater or Tanger, you're required to have a clear plastic bag to take your belongings.
All right, so both have interesting ideas. As a reminder, in-person early voting starts today and runs through November 1st. Election day is November 4th, and if you wait until then, you will have to vote in your assigned precinct. We are on top of what Alamance County leaders are calling the largest meth bust in county history. Listen to this. The narcotics enforcement team said it seized more than 400 pounds of meth in a massive multi-agency operation. Authorities arrested two Burlington men, both now facing trafficking charges. The narcotics team says the drugs had a street value of more than $5 million. Officials call this a major win in the fight against drug trafficking.
Burlington police say this man is a person of interest in a string of car break-ins. Police say they happen at Forestdale Apartments in the southwest part of the city. Call police if you recognize him.
High Point police say 4 people are facing charges accused of trying to steal cars from a dealership. One of the suspects is a 17-year-old. So officers say the attempted thefts happened at Ilderton Dodge on South Main Street. Police also found a loaded gun in the suspect's car. The 4 arrested range in age from 17 to 22. All face several charges now.
The Triad International Studies Academy closed its door for the last time just after noon Wednesday. Now parents looking for where to enroll next gathered at a nearby elementary school to hear from the district about their options. WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman spoke with some of those parents.
Parents say between the short notice and the sudden closure of the Triad International Studies Academy, figuring out what's next has been complicated.
It's really stressful.
Parents like Dulce Garcia, whose daughter attended TISA, saying she was thriving there. We met Garcia before tonight's meeting as her emotions ran high.
Now I don't know what I'm gonna do with her.
Tonight's meeting, hosted by Guilford County Schools, aimed to give parents options for re-enrollment. The charter school closed because state law requires at least 80 students. TISA had fewer than 60. Garcia says the meeting did bring some relief.
I'm glad the meeting did happen because I do have like one school in mind, and that helped me ease a little bit.
The district offered 3 schools: Kirkman Park, Northwood, and Allen J. Elementaries, all in High Point, all offering similar dual language programs, according to District Deputy Superintendent Anitra Wells.
We wanted to bring our High Point schools in that actually offer immersion programs.
Wells says students can start at those schools as early as tomorrow.
Absolutely, if those parents choose to enroll them tonight.
But she worries about students who wait.
I think that looks like lost instructional time. And so we really don't want babies to lose opportunities or scholars to lose those opportunities.
Garcia says while she feels a little better now, she still worries about the future.
I don't know what I'm gonna do because my job was based on her school schedule.
Saying this situation has impacted her entire family.
DCS and the city of High Point say they are working to help displaced teachers and staff find new positions.
Still ahead, new trouble for federal workers as layoffs mount during the government shutdown. Why a judge says the Trump administration's move to cut jobs might be illegal. Well, there is new uncertainty for federal workers this morning as the federal government shutdown continues. So many people are now dealing with changes in day-to-day lives. Thousands already received layoff notices, and the Trump administration says more could be coming.
But a federal judge now says those layoffs may be illegal, and health officials warn the cuts could have serious consequences. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
This morning, the U.S. Senate is set to vote for a 10th time on funding bills to reopen the federal government. But as the shutdown stretches into day 16, the livelihoods of thousands of federal workers hang in limbo. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from firing Fed employees during the stalemate, saying the move appears to be politically motivated and likely illegal. 4,000 government workers have already received layoff notices. Wednesday, the president's budget chief threatened there could be more.
I think we'll probably end up being north of 10,000.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention was hit with hundreds of layoff notices last weekend.
We're witnessing an all-out Republican assault on the health care of the American people.
It's truly like an episode of Squid Game.
This CDC scientist asked that her identity be concealed. She warns the cuts endanger public health.
It's going to impede our ability to respond to public health outbreaks.
A Health and Human Services Department spokesperson claims the layoffs target bloated bureaucracy for positions designated non-essential by their departments. Meanwhile, President Trump has ordered the Pentagon to pay service members, likely using unspent Defense Department funds.
We got the people that we want paid.
FBI Director Kash Patel says FBI agents will also be paid during the shutdown, though he didn't say where the funds will come from. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says the administration's plan to pay U.S. troops with unspent funds is only a temporary fix. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader John Thune is pushing a year-long bill to fund the Pentagon and might attach other spending measures, but it's unclear if that version of it would get the 60 votes needed to pass.
Switching gears now, checking in on the forecast. Forecast highs today, much cooler than we've been over the last several days. Upper 60s and lower 70s. This is actually where normals are for this time of year. Tonight is likely going to be the coldest air of the season and the coldest air that we've had in the area since April. I'm talking upper 30s, possible in some spots, especially toward the foothills and in the mountains. Lower 40s for the rest of us. Certainly going to be a cold one. Make sure the kiddos on their way out to the bus stop tomorrow morning have the extra layer so they're able to stay warm. Greensboro right now, beautiful start to the day. Low to mid 50s with winds out of the north, bringing in that cooler air up to around 5 miles per hour. Temps right now just after 8:15. We're in the low to mid 50s for the most part. 52 in Winston-Salem, 54 in Greensboro, as well as in Siler City. Don't worry, we don't have to worry about rain chances for the day today or really for the next several days. And that's all thanks to high pressure working to keep us nice and dry. The cooler air we're seeing today as a result of that cold front that passed through just last night. Now, as high pressure starts to move offshore, we're going to see some shifts in breezes starting to come out of the south into Saturday, and that's going to actually work to warm us up. We'll be back actually into the upper 70s Saturday afternoon and into the evening. A closer look at the futurecast into the night tonight. We're going to be back in the 50s, slowly falling back into the lower 40s. A very cold night is ahead of us. I can tell you, I'm already going to have on double the layers into tomorrow morning. It's just going to be feeling much cooler than it typically is this time of year in the upper 40s. We are going to be seeing much more sunny days in the next several days as well. Saturday, we're back in the upper 70s for the afternoon, ahead of some rain chances on the way on Sunday, very later into the evening and overnight. Here it is in a longer range outlook Sunday by around 10 o'clock when we start to see some scattered showers across the area. Not a guarantee for everyone, but certainly I think all of us at this point will take any sort of rain that we can get. 7-day outlook here by the Weather Prediction Center showing most of us getting up to around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch over the next 7 days. So still pretty dry compared to where we should be for this time here of the month, as we're already halfway through October. Into next week, we're going to be a little bit cooler in the upper 60s ahead of temperatures starting to warm up a bit in the 70s for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Alrighty, let's check back in on our Triad traffic as we take a look across the Triad. We're in great shape. No major delays on I-40 in Alamance County, Summerville, Greensboro, High Point, Lexington, all looking fantastic. Where we're seeing those light moderate delays are out in the Winston-Salem area, but major improvements on 40 heading eastbound. About 10 minutes ago, we saw a ton of red there, and traffic was moving about 7 miles per hour, starting to even out. Just some light and moderate delays, but overall traffic looking good. If you want, you can head out early and consider taking 421 east as your alternate route. Here's a quick look at our traffic flows out in Greensboro with a live picture of I-40 at McConnell. Traffic moving right along, but it is so beautiful out. Love looking at those fall-like leaves. That is a look at your Triad traffic.
Well, we've all heard no phones at the dinner table. That's a rule we like to incorporate in our family. But what about no phones at a restaurant or a bar? In a world that is always connected, more people are unplugging to truly connect. Michael Yoshida shows us how one restaurant is changing the dining experience by going device-free.
A night out without distraction.
I'm trying to actually engage with people.
They turn to the person next to them, start talking, making a friend.
This new Washington, D.C. bar and restaurant is phone-free.
Most people said they were skeptical or just told me I was crazy as hell.
Chef Rock Harper says the idea for a phone-free space came after examining his own relationship with his devices. Harper hosted a few comedy-free events where phones weren't allowed and then decided to go further, opening Hush Harbor.
I'm betting on humanity. I'm betting on humans being in community with other humans.
Welcome back, welcome back.
When you arrive, your phone goes into a magnetically closed pouch that you carry with you. For mobile pay, a tab can be set up before sealing it shut. Need your phone? The pouch can be unlocked anytime. You'll just be asked to use it outside.
I like my phone. I like seeing, my messages and emails and things come through. But sometimes you gotta unwind.
Studies have shown cell phones can hinder social interactions. From the negative signal it can send to others when you glance at your device to the simple distraction.
We often think we are very good at multitasking, but we're not. Turning your attention away to your smartphone, even for a brief second, that pulls you away from the conversation.
Harper hopes offering a space for people to disconnect from the digital world will allow them to reconnect with the real one.
We as human beings need offline spaces to commune and convene and just to be around one another is really important right now.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
One final check of your forecast. It's been a beautiful start to the day across the Piedmont Triad. We're currently in the low to mid 50s with plenty of sunshine expected throughout the day today and really over the next several days. Temperatures here just after 8:20. We're at 54 in Greensboro, 52 in Winston-Salem, 50 right now in Burlington, 49 in Sanford. Going to start to warm up these next couple of hours now that the sun is out. We're going to be in the upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees, which is where we normally are for this time of year, but the last several days have been super warm. We've actually been in the upper 70s, but we're going to get there once again into Saturday afternoon. Sunny and dry, some rain chances though going to return later into Sunday evening, and we're going to be back in the low to mid 70s. Not a lot of rain, but I think at this point a lot of us need anything that we can get with these precip chances. Now into Monday, it's going to be a little bit cooler, breezier, upper 60s. Then we're going to be back in the 70s for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Good morning, I'm Megan Maleros. Let's catch you up to speed on our top stories this morning. Today, Governor Stein will visit the small town of Marshall in western North Carolina, an area hit hard by Helene. He'll visit the one-year anniversary spot where this hurricane really did some damage. We took this drone video as the riverside town bounces back. At this point, all we know about Stein's visit is that he'll be making an announcement about a state flood program. We'll let you know what he says. Today, the State Fair opens in Raleigh, a beautiful weather day for that. Organizers are introducing 88 new foods, including new rides and entertainment as well. Today is Wolfpack Day, so all NC State students get in for $8. More information on WFMYnews2.com. Now to our Wolfpack grad, Claire Fry, with a check of our forecast.
And I would say today is a fairly good forecast too to kick off the NC State Fair. It's going to be feeling like fall. Current conditions right now, we're in the upper 40s and lower 50s. Currently right now 54 in Greensboro, 51 in High Point. Probably going to need a jacket this morning, but not so much this afternoon. A break for the thermostat. Upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees today and tomorrow, ahead of some changes coming stepping into the weekend. We're actually going to be a little bit warmer into the day on Saturday in the upper 70s. Some much needed rain chances, not a guarantee for all, but certainly going to be much needed for those of you that do get it into Sunday afternoon and evening, likely to become a little bit more widespread later into the overnight hours. A bit cooler before we start to warm back up into the 70s by the middle of next week.
Welcome back to WFMY News 2 morning, streaming on WFMY Plus. It's now 8:30. I'm Megan Maleras. Let's get to meteorologist Claire Fry. Before we get to our headlines this morning, Claire, these early morning temperatures are chilly, but today is beautiful.
It is beautiful today, and it feels like fall. Over the last couple of days, it's just been super, super warm in the upper 70s, and today we're going to be right where we should be for this time of year in the lower 70s. 71 for a high today here in Greensboro, as well as in High Point and also in Danville. Tonight, we're actually going to be in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Some of the coldest air we've had all season, and certainly the coldest air we've had since April. We're nice and dry throughout the day today and also into the next couple of days. Temperatures right now at 8:30 starting to rise. 54 right now in Greensboro, 50 in Burlington and in Lexington, as well as for our friends over in Salisbury. Over the next 12 hours, we're going to be warming up a bit into the more comfortable upper 60s and lower 70s for this afternoon. There goes that cold front that brought in the cooler air that we're now going to be experiencing over the next day or two. But as high pressure starts to move offshore, that's when we start to see warmer temperatures back in the area, at least briefly into Saturday. Here's that forecast for the day today in its entirety. Upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees. Over the next couple of days, big changes and roller coaster temperatures going low into the lower 70s, back into the upper 70s for Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday, some rain chances on the way heading into the evening. Coming up, we'll break down those rain chances for you and give you a full glance at your 7-day.
All right, let's take a look at Triad traffic. We are looking good on I-40 at Silas Creek Parkway. No problems in either direction, and the only weather delay that could slow you down is the sun in your eyes this morning. You're definitely going to need the shades as you head out and about this morning. No problems to report, no wrecks in the area this morning, but I want to take a look at our DOT traffic maps showing drive times now. Burlington to Greensboro, you're looking at an 8-minute ride down I-40 to the 85 split. 19 minutes down 85 to I-73. Let's check Winston to Greensboro, where we are seeing some trouble spots this morning. No wrecks at the moment, but some delays stop and go on 421. Average speeds of about 46 miles an hour, taking 35 minutes to get from Winston to Greensboro. So you're better off taking I-40 if you can. You'll save about 10 minutes on that commute. Let's leave High Point, head to Greensboro now. You're looking at a 10-minute ride down 85. Business 85 north, I should say, to I-40 going about 64 miles an hour. Our camera at 74 is not reporting here, it looks like, but we do know there are no crashes in that area. All right, let's dive into our headlines now this morning. Guilford Technical Community College is breaking ground on the first phase of its new aviation campus. This comes as the industry takes off, pun intended, with Boom Supersonic and Jet Zero bringing thousands of new jobs to our area. Governor Josh Stein attended the celebration, praising the role of education and training supporting our state's manufacturing industry.
Really blessed in North Carolina. We have the largest manufacturing workforce in the entire Southeast, and we have the most talented, and GTCC and this new building is going to ensure that we remain at the top.
Yes, this is all very exciting. And for more aviation opportunities, PTI Airport is hosting a job fair next Tuesday. More than a dozen airport-based employers will be there, including FedEx, Honda Jet, TSA, and HAECO. They'll be hiring for roles in aviation, hospitality, logistics, and public safety. The fair is from 3 to 7 inside the terminal. Parking is free, and some employers might even interview you on site. After his trip to Colfax, Governor Stein yesterday went to Forsyth County for a law enforcement roundtable with Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough Jr. The governor highlighted the need for the General Assembly to pass a public safety package, ensuring fast response to crime and preventing it from happening in the first place. Today, Governor Stein will visit Marshall in western North Carolina, an area, as you might know, hit very hard by Hurricane Helene 1 year ago. We took this drone video recently as the riverside town bounces back. At this point, we know Stein will be making some sort of announcement about a state flood program. We'll let you know what happens in that and who it affects. Today, the State Fair opens in Raleigh. Beautiful weather if you have the day off work. Organizers are introducing 88 new foods. I've heard there's a cotton candy tea. There will also be new rides and entertainment. Today is Wolfpack Day, so all NC State students get in for $8. More information on WFMYnews2.com. Still ahead, we're talking about wellness as we age and some strategies our families can use at home. The director of Arbor Acres Retirement Community is here with us on tips to stay active.
it's
Welcome back to WFMY News 2 Mornings. Are you staying physically active as you age? The CDC data shows nearly a third of U.S. adults 50 and older report no physical activity outside of work. That lack of exercise can take a big toll as we get older. Joining me is Stormy Bruce, the Wellness Arts Director of Arbor Acres Retirement Community. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. We are so excited to be representing our seniors today.
Yeah.
And we just celebrated our Active Aging Week last week, which was a wonderful time to highlight all of the activities that seniors can do.
Talk a little bit about that and this model Arbor Acres uses. There are 7 components to overall wellness you promote.
Yes, we have 7 dimensions of wellness. And so the more well balanced you are, or the more participation in all of the dimensions, the more overall well-being you have, the healthier you will be. So instead of just being physical or just maybe intellectual, if you were just reading all the time, make sure you're doing something physical, make sure you're doing something spiritual. Yeah. Staying socially connected is very important as well.
We know wellness looks different for different people. We mentioned diet is so subjective, nutrition is so subjective. So is this something that you talk with the families of the residents about when they first come to Arbor Acres? How do we develop this program that's tailored to you and your needs?
So actually we do one-on-one visits with all our residents, and it depends on what level of care. So we have everything from independent living all the way down to skilled nursing and memory care. And so we want to have a lot of continuity within that. And so activity, nutrition, all of that is guided to the best of the asks of the resident. So if they're independent living and they want to do whatever food plan they would like, they're welcome to, but we certainly want to impose the importance of well-balanced meals as well as well-balanced life. So.
You mentioned creativity too is one of your pillars. I think that's so interesting because not only do you have physical health affecting how well you age, but you also have emotional health, and finding your passion, right, even as an older adult is so important to longevity and quality of life.
Absolutely. What we tend to do is we're so busy with life and we retire and then we're missing that focus of work or family. And so we want to think about those things that we're passionate about. Maybe we had a hobby we never got to that we really, really wanted to try. And we have artists that started when they were in their 70s and they're in their 90s and they're fantastic artists. You would not believe the talent that people explore after they retire. So it's about not being fearful of trying something. So if you had a passion at all, if you had something you just never tried, go ahead and try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? So really being open-minded and getting that creative niche back. Not just settling for reading the paper every day, sitting in our chair, watching a little TV, going for a little walk. That everyone kind of does that. You need to challenge yourself and spark your creativity. It uses a different part of your brain.
It's interesting you explained it that way because I recently heard from a geriatrics expert who said the most dangerous year of your life is the year you retire.
It's
because you lose that purpose, right?
Is,
And that
yes.
routine that keeps you active.
It is, and social connection. So whether you enjoy going out and about in your community, or if you're more at home and have limited access, go talk to your neighbors. Start the book club for your neighborhood. Start the walking club, walking group. You know, find something. Maybe you have a bunch of children in the community. Maybe you could host a baking. Maybe you're a great baker. Host a baking class on a weekend and have everybody over. You know, stay socially engaged and share your talents if you have them.
Great suggestions. Thanks so much for your time. I love this topic. It's so important. We talk about it all day. So if you're interested in learning more about Arbor Acres, you can find more information on the facility's website.
Checking in on your forecast, it's a beautiful start to the Thursday morning right now. We're currently in the low to mid 50s. Plenty of sunshine with winds coming in out of the north, bringing in that cooler air for the day today. Compared to recent days that we've been in the upper 70s, expect lower 70s at best for this afternoon. Temperatures here this morning at 8:41. We're currently in the low to mid 50s. 54 in Greensboro, 52 currently in Winston-Salem, 51 in High Point, 50 in Reidsville and in Burlington. This afternoon, lower 70s are back, but tonight is likely going to be the coldest air we've seen all season long, and also the coldest air we've had in the area since April. I'm talking upper 30s and lower 40s. Perhaps you're sending the kiddos out in the morning to their bus stop on the way to school. Make sure they have the heavier coat because it's going to be a cold one into tomorrow morning, especially in comparison to recent mornings in the 50s. A look right now at the satellite and radar. We've been nice and dry. We're going to stay that way over the next several days thanks to high pressure keeping us nice and dry, moving in and across the Carolinas. As it starts to move offshore, that's when we see a change in winds. They're going to start to come in out of the south as we head into the day on Saturday, and that's going to be bringing in warmer and also more humid air, and that's also going to drive highs back into the upper 70s. This afternoon, lower 70s at best into tomorrow morning. Going to be a cold one in the upper 30s and lower 40s by the time we step into Friday afternoon. Upper 60s to right at around 70 once again. Ahead of that warm up, you could see those wind barbs starting to come in out of the south, bringing in that warmer air that'll guide those highs back into the mid to upper 70s for Saturday. As for rain chances, not really seeing much over the next couple of days. Our next best shot is going to arrive later into Sunday evening and overnight, all associated with a cold front that'll be bringing in more widespread chances. Not a guarantee for everyone that we'll be seeing rainfall, but certainly our next shot of rain. Weather Prediction Center does have us getting up to around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch for those of you lucky to receive some heavier bands within this front. And if that changes, of course, we'll continue to bring you those updates, but it is looking dry otherwise. Behind the system, we're a little bit cooler. We're going to be in the upper 60s. Plenty of sunshine on Monday and a little bit breezy ahead of a warm up coming Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to be back in the 70s.
Instagram is tightening safety settings for teenager accounts, now matching guidelines used for PG-13 movies. The change follows a new study by Common Sense Media on how social media, gaming, and influencers shape how young boys see themselves and others. Ivan Rodriguez reports on what children are seeing online and how parents can help.
From social media to gaming, young men online face a digital life that provides both connections and challenges, and it's having a significant impact on how they see themselves and others, according to a new Common Sense Media survey.
This is shaping young boys, young men's image here across the country, and the images are everything from fighting to body image to being tough to making money.
CEO and founder of Common Sense Media, James Steyer, says in most cases, young boys aren't searching for these posts. 68% of them say the content automatically shows up on their feeds.
It's actually just being sent to them directly by the big social media platforms in order to make money. We have a youth mental health crisis in this country, but also a crisis among boys and young men.
91% of boys see messages about body image or appearance, like dressing a certain way and having clear skin, according to the study. Those with high exposure to such messages are more than 4 times as likely to say social media makes them think they should change their appearance. 69% also regularly see content promoting gender roles in problematic ways, such as posts suggesting girls prefer to date a particular kind of guy or use their looks to achieve their goals.
I think it's a very powerful public education message to the boys themselves and to kids in general, but also to their parents and educators. Platforms have been getting away with some really offensive and inappropriate algorithmic content for years. It's about time they were held accountable, period.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
All right, let's take a final look at Triad traffic this morning at 8:45. It looks like traffic is still moving along just fine on our DOT traffic camera here at I-40 at Silas Creek Parkway. No problems heading to or from Winston-Salem. Some earlier delays appear to have cleared. Drive times Burlington to Greensboro. Take your pick of I-40 or I-85. Looking good, going about 70 miles an hour. Winston to Greensboro, 421. The speed there has improved. It'll take you now 29 minutes, going about 54 miles an hour. A 24-minute commute on I-40. Let's leave High Point to Greensboro now. You're looking at an 11-minute commute down Business 85 north to I-40. That's a look at Triad traffic. Well, we all subscribe to multiple different services, but are subscription fees creeping up without your noticing? If so, you're not alone. WFMY News 2's Lauren Coleman dug into the rising costs and has some smart tips on how to fight back.
Have you noticed your monthly subscriptions getting more expensive lately? You're not imagining things. From streaming services to business tools, prices are climbing. Our financial expert Janae Adams knows all about saving money. She is the founder of Debt Sucks University and even paid off $50,000 of debt in just 2 years. Janae, that is incredible. How'd you do it?
Yes, so definitely it was looking at what was coming out of my pocket and out of my bank account. So I started looking at each and everything and saying, what is costing me too much money and how can I start to save on that and cut back? And then we use that money to pay towards the debt and pay the 50 grand off.
So this is why we love having you here, because you've lived this, you know about saving, and now you're warning folks about something many of us are seeing, what you call fee creep. What is that?
Yes, so what I've been seeing that a lot of costs are going up monthly, and these fees are going back to back, and they are not like over a year, they're happening constantly. So I wanted to know what that was and what we need to do about it.
So now that we understand what's happening, the next question is, what is behind this driving cost? What is causing these subscriptions to go up?
Yes, I have a lot of technology subscriptions each month, and so I need that to make my business run efficiently. I started getting back-to-back emails saying that these fees are going to go up. In fact, one went up $30 per month. And I said something has to be going on. These same companies were also talking about their AI upgrades that we were going to get access to. And I realized AI is expensive, and these companies don't want to pay for that implementation themselves, and they're pushing the cost down on us, their consumers.
And everybody's dabbling into AI, so
Yes.
we're going to start seeing this across the board. My next question is, if people want to cut back, what are some things they can do to track some of these subscriptions or even cancel them if they need to?
Yes, so if you're starting to see costs start to go up each month, it may be due to AI upgrades or tariffs, you can unsubscribe. There's a site called Rocket Money that will look at all your subscriptions and help you unsubscribe to them. The key is that you have to attach your credit card account or your bank account. And so if you don't want to do that, you're going to have to manually do that. You know, you got to do it the hard way, look at your financial statements and unsubscribe one by one.
But what if it's a service that we really need, we can't cancel it? Is there a way to work around this so we are not paying as much?
Yes, so that is the key, that to find a workaround. So that $30 a month extra fee, I actually really need that service. And so I call customer service and I asked them, how can I avoid this $30 a month extra fee? They told me, I took the steps, and as a result, I'm actually paying $20 less than I was before the upgrade that happened.
See, this is why we call her the financial expert. So before we wrap up, what's some other advice or a big tip that you would give folks who are looking to cut back and want to fight these rising costs?
I would say to make sure that you look at every line on your spending plan and see what you can cut out or cut back, and then take that extra money. If you have debt, pay it towards the debt. If you don't have any debt, put it towards your investments or to save it for yourself.
All right, we like a fun trip. Thank you so much, Janae. We all feel a little bit smarter.
One final check-in on your forecast. Right now, it's been a beautiful start to the day across the Piedmont Triad. Current conditions beautiful. Don't have to worry about rain chances throughout the day today or the next couple of days. We're currently making our way back into the 50s. 54 right now in Greensboro, as well as in High Point. 52 in Asheboro. 50 degrees right now in Burlington. Over the next couple of hours, we're going to work our way back into the 60s, upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees for this afternoon. Much cooler than we have been over the last couple of days. Feels like fall. Into the upcoming weekend, also going to start to see some changes. A little bit of a roller coaster with temperatures. We're back in the upper 70s for Saturday, low to mid 70s on Sunday with some rain chances working their way back, and a bit cooler on Monday, upper 60s. It's also going to be a little bit more breezy. 70s will take us through the middle of next week.
morning, I'm Megan Malaris. Let's take a look at our top stories today. High Point police say 4 people are facing charges accused of trying to steal cars from a popular dealership. One of the suspects is 17. Officers say the attempted thefts happened at Ilderton Dodge on South Main Street. Police also found a loaded gun in the suspect's car. The 4 arrested range from 17 to 22. All face several charges. Burlington police say this man is a person of interest in a string of car break-ins. Police say these happened at Forestdale Apartments in the southwest part of the city. Call police if you recognize him. Let's look at our forecast now with meteorologist Claire Fry. It's a beautiful day.
Yep, beautiful start to the day, Megan. All across, you can see all across the area on our quad cam. Plenty of sunshine and blue skies. Expect that for today and for the next couple of days. Temperatures here just after 8:55. We're in the low to mid 50s, starting to warm up. Not going to get anywhere near as warm as we've been in the last couple of days, but we're still going to be giving you a break with your thermostat. We're going to be in the upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees. Nice and comfortable. Feels like fall for the day today. Some changes, though, are coming. Roller coaster temperatures. We're going to be back in the upper 70s into the day on Saturday. Warmer, and then into Sunday, we're going to be seeing some rain chances, especially later into the evening hours. Behind that system, we're going to be cooling off a bit on Monday, a little bit more breezy in the upper 60s. 70s will take us into Tuesday and Wednesday. A lot of variation in temperatures here over the next several days after a streak of upper 70s, low 70s will take us into the weekend.
Right now on WFMY News 2 at 9, students are not in class after a charter school abruptly shuts down in High Point. What options parents have now to get their children back to learning?
Plus, an arrest video on UNCG campus goes viral. What police and students say happened.
And temperatures not nearly as warm as we have been in the last couple of days. Feels like fall. See how long it lasts coming up.
Welcome to WFMY News 2 at 9 this Thursday morning. I'm Megan Malaris.
And I'm Lauren Coleman. Right now, students of the Triad International Studies Academy aren't in class. That is because the charter school abruptly closed because it couldn't meet state requirements for enrollment.
Now, many parents are scrambling to find a new home for their children to learn. Last night, they gathered at a nearby elementary school to hear from Guilford County schools about the options there. The district offered 3 schools, Kirkman Park, Northwood, and Allen J. Elementaries, all in High Point, all offering similar dual language programs. Students can start at those schools as early as today. We talked with a parent, Dulce Garcia, who said she is glad this meeting happened, but the suddenness is hard on students.
Really sucked it because my kid loves that program, and a lot of kids too, and it really helped a lot of kids with autism.
GCS and the city of High Point say they are working to help displaced teachers and staff find new positions.
This morning, a Massachusetts man received a sentence of 4 years in federal prison for hacking into PowerSchool. Remember, that's the software North Carolina school districts used. You'll recall personal data from millions of students and teachers got breached. And now 20-year-old Matthew Lane faces 4 years in prison. Lane pleaded guilty to cyber extortion conspiracy, cyber extortion, unauthorized access to protected computers, and aggravated identity theft. Lane is also ordered to pay more than $14 million in restitution, a $25,000 fine, and serve 3 years of supervised release. North Carolina transitioned away from PowerSchool to a new system called Infinite Campus in July.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about this weather. It is so cool outside, but it is still a great day to get out and about, Claire.
No, it certainly feels like fall finally, right after a stretch of days this week that we spent in the upper 70s. We got to 78 here in Lexington just yesterday, 79 nearing 80 degrees, not only in Wilkesboro, but also for our friends over in Iredell County in Statesville. Today feels like fall, all thanks to a cold front that swept through just last night. Highs today are going to be right where they should be for this time of year, lower 70s, but tonight will likely be the coldest air that we've had so far this season. And if we get down into the lower 40s, it'll be the coldest air that we've had since April. So before you send the kids out to the bus stop tomorrow morning, make sure they have on the bigger coat because it's going to be a cold one, especially in comparison to the mild 50s and 60s for overnight lows we've had in recent weeks. A look at the satellite and radar, nice and dry for now. You can expect to see that continue into the next couple of days with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures here just after 9 o'clock. We're in the mid to upper 50s, 58 in Greensboro, 57 currently in Burlington. Over the next couple of hours, 60s will return, upper 60s to right at around 70 degrees. Noticeably cooler, and it's all due to that cold front that swept through just last night. High pressure is going to work to keep us nice and dry, but we are going to start to warm up here in the next couple of days. Tomorrow is a very similar forecast to what we have for the day today, right near 70, but upper 70s are going to return into Saturday, and rain chances, much needed as they are coming back on Sunday. Coming up, we'll time those rain chances out and give you a full glance at your 7-day forecast.
Well, right now we're not too worried about snow in the forecast, although my kids have been asking for it already. It doesn't mean the city is not already prepping for this season. This is a live look right now at Greensboro's annual hands-on snow training program. You can see the plows are already ready to go. We know there is a big fleet of plows and a huge salt yard in Greensboro. Crews in the First Horizon Coliseum parking lot are practicing snow and ice operations like loading salt trucks and using snowplow and spreader trucks. Drivers are going through an obstacle course, as you see there, practicing handling the big trucks. The city said this training preps its workers to be ready to clear the streets as soon as snow starts falling.
Well, this morning we are looking for answers after Greensboro police responded to Lake Higgins last night and pulled out what appears to be a safe out of the water. Technicians then took it away. We reached out to police to find out more about this and find out if anything was found inside. You may remember that body parts of a missing woman, Amber Schimmelfinning, were found in that same lake in late September. Police would not confirm or deny if this discovery is related to that case. Of course, we will keep you posted.
Today, the man accused of killing a Ukrainian woman on a Charlotte light rail almost 2 months ago was set to have a crucial court hearing. You'll recall this case received national attention, President Trump even weighing in on it. DeCarlos Brown Jr. was set to have a Rule 24 court hearing. A Rule 24 hearing is for the state to figure out whether they can pursue the death penalty. Court documents said that hearing is now being pushed back until April of next year. The decision to delay the hearing came from Brown and his attorney. The reason for the delay was redacted from documents. Brown is charged with the stabbing death of Irina Zarutska.
The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office identified the man shot and killed by deputies. Deputies say 31-year-old Siobhan Smith died during a shootout last Tuesday. They say they were trying to serve a warrant at a house in Reedsville when Smith shot them several times. Deputies then shot him dead. No deputies were hurt. The SBI is investigating.
UNCG police are defending their officers after a video of a traffic stop and arrest went viral on social media.
Yeah, some are pushing for accountability while the department says officers followed procedure. Here is a short clip from that video. Take a look.
Go in jail too. We don't have badge numbers. Give me your name. You want to go to jail too? Okay, you want to jail. That's fine.
Okay, so the video does not show the full interaction. Campus police explained they approached a car that had been parked in a turn lane on Glenwood Avenue for about 40 minutes with hazard lights on. They say the driver was verbally aggressive and refused to get out of the car.
Police say a UNCG student walked up during this, put her hands on an officer's shoulder, and later refused to identify herself until officers gave badge numbers. When she tried to leave, officers say controlled force was used to safely restrain her. One student who witnessed part of what happened says he's traumatized but hoping for justice.
This did not make UNCG weaker. If anything, it made these students and the faculty stronger.
University police say the officers involved followed protocol and will not be disciplined.
Well, local leaders are ramping up pressure on Representative Cecil Brockman, a Democrat, to step down as he faces child sex crimes charges. We asked Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn for her thoughts during a visit to our studio.
Representative Brockman is part of our Guilford delegation, and we rely on him for support. I believe that it is in the best interest of Guilford County and the state for him to step aside. He can focus on the issues that he has to deal with, but also that we can continue to be represented 100% at the state level. That is really important.
Brockman is in custody in jail. He is not able to vote, leaving Democrats down a vote in the legislature. He is in jail after his release from the hospital.
Right now, construction crews are working away in High Point to start the groundwork for a community recreation center. It's for the High Point Center for Active Adults in Oakview. The city says the facility is for people 50 and up and promotes an active lifestyle. It says the state-of-the-art facility will rehouse programs from the Roy B. Culler Junior Senior Center. That includes fitness and wellness classes, arts and learning opportunities. The city says in 2019, High Point residents voted to approve a bond referendum to fund this project. Neighbors say they are excited to check out the facility once it is complete.
I do line dance at the senior center as it is out where it is now, but I'm anxious to be able to do it closer to home. The whole energy of this area is really showing growth.
That is exciting. So the city says this project is expected to be completed by December of 2026.
Well, that falls in line with what we're talking about, staying healthy and active at all ages, especially when you get to be seniors. Coming up next, we'll interview an expert on what to do to help our aging loved ones stay happy.
No problem. I'm still connected.
Well, experts say the most dangerous year of your life is the year you retire. Oftentimes, that's when routine and physical fitness takes a shift. Joining me this morning to talk about wellness as we age is Stormy Bruce, Wellness Arts Director of Arbor Acres Retirement Community. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We talked a little bit last hour on our streaming platform, WFMY Plus, about the 7 pillars Arbor Acres has for this whole wellness idea and experience. Talk about those.
Yes. So a lot of everyone really knows about physical activity, but we also need to intertwine our intellectual, our environmental, our social connections, spiritual. All of those are so important. And once we kind of embrace all of those, then we're having a whole body wellness. And that's what we want to focus on, especially as we're aging.
You said creativity is important, emotional well-being is important, and we'll get to that in a moment, but I want to zero in on physical activity right now. There's a misconception that physical activity ties with going to the gym, and when you're a senior, that idea can be quite daunting and maybe worrisome that it could be expensive.
Absolutely, and so there's a lot of options available. Resistant bands at home are an easy, inexpensive, low equipment. You just have to be safe. Whatever you're doing physically, you have to be safe. While walking is fantastic, we lose our muscle mass as we age, and our bone structures weaken. So we want to make sure we're really focusing on weight training in some capacity. And that's going to keep our stability, so we have fall prevention, and it's just going to make us feel better overall.
Yeah, high impact, right, really helps with that bone strength.
Yes, and while you can pick up things around your house and try to do some training in lieu of weights, you just always want to refer to safety guidelines. So whether you're looking at something on YouTube that you want to explore, just make sure you're being safe. That's the key. We don't want any injuries at home, but you can certainly do a lot of things at home. Chair yoga.
I like that idea.
And they have a lot of those type of things on YouTube videos, and they're set specifically for seniors. So you want to look for those that are developed specifically for seniors.
Yeah, and those YouTube videos are oftentimes free.
Yes.
As we found out during COVID, there are a lot of free resources out there. You just have to know where to look. Let's talk about how we as loved ones can support our aging family members who maybe aren't living the healthiest lifestyles, but we're afraid of breaking the dynamic if we try to nudge them into doing something they don't want to do.
Well, it is definitely a challenging dynamic. We are all adults and we need to be shown dignity and respect. And so while you have a family connection, sometimes we lose patience or get frustrated easily because we've dealt with the person over and over and over. So sometimes those conversations need to get creative as well. Instead of coming and asking a bunch of questions, don't ask. Say, hey, Mom, Dad, let's go for a walk. Hey, we're going to go do this. Go ahead and take the initiative and just get them moving, get them going in some way instead of kind of that harping on, did you get this done today? Because the role reversal happens where the children are finding themselves in more of the parental role. So maybe try to switch that back and even say, hey, what would you like us to do? Trying to really get that engagement from them, let them spark a new idea. Is it going to the zoo and spending the day at the zoo, getting out, social, environment, all those dimensions wrapped into one. So trying to really change that mindset when you're dealing with a parent or a grandparent and being understanding, empathetic, but sparking creativity and sparking some excitement with them so that they do have that inspiration to go do things.
We, not me. I love that outlook. Thanks so much for your time and for promoting wellness as we age, such an important topic on any given day. You can find more information about Arbor Acres on the facility's website.